I don't know if you're like me, but often when I'm going through really hard times, I'm feeling like I'm suffering or I'm feeling like I'm constantly being tempted with something. I wonder, what's the fastest way to get out of this situation? Why is this continually happening? And I was reading my Bible in the book of Hebrews with my two of my daughters the other night. Something really jumped out at me that I thought I would share here because I think it helps to reframe those very questions. And I think, if we're all honest with ourselves, at some point we all have them. So here's what I've got. In the 5th chapter of Hebrews, in the 8th verse, it says, "Although he, that is Jesus, was a son, he learned obedience through the things he suffered. And by being perfected in this way, he became the source of eternal salvation." So there was a purpose for his suffering. It was to learn obedience so that he could be perfected, so that he could be the source of eternal salvation. And I think oftentimes we think the only way that Jesus suffered, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way, because he suffered greatly at the cross, but we think the only place he suffered was there. But a few chapters back in Hebrews chapter 2, verse 18, here's what it says. It says, "For since he," that is Jesus, himself, "suffered when he was tempted, he is able to help those who are tempted." And I thought, yeah, he suffered when he was tempted. It was hard for him to overcome temptation. But in that suffering, as it says in chapter 5, verse 8, he learned obedience. And through his obedience, he was perfected. And then I'm going to flip over to James chapter 1 because I think this ties it all together for us. It says, "My brothers and sisters, consider it nothing but joy when you fall into all sorts of trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let that endurance have its perfect effect." So again, we hear this word perfect. We see James say, count it joy when you go through trials, because it's going to create endurance, and that endurance is going to have a perfecting effect. Not that it's going to make us perfect in the way Jesus was, but it's that sanctification. At least that's how I interpret that. And so for me, what it helped me do was it helped me see, it's like Tony Robbins all those years ago was right when he said we get to pick two things. The first is what things mean, and the second is what we focus on. And so when we're going through those trials and those tribulations, when we feel like we're being tempted, we get to choose what it means. And our flesh wants us to choose that it means something's wrong, that we're a victim, that the world is conspiring against us. And yet, what my Bible tells me is that it means something totally different. It means that God is working on us. He's trying to teach us obedience. He wants to sanctify us. And if we will see it in that way, we will focus on it differently. And then we will grow and we will become more obedient and we will become more like Christ. And so for me, that was super helpful. I hope it spoke to you. If it did, I'd love to hear about it. And I'll see you next time.